Hi everyone, thank you for tuning in to my latest video. This is an urban scene from a local cafe window and a preview of the final drawing that's developed over the course of this video. I hope you enjoy the process that follows. So to begin, I'm starting in very loosely with a pencil, doing this on location. So like my previous videos, it's partly done on location and partly finished at home. The pencil and then this initial pen work was done on site at the cafe with my tripod. I got a more stable view this time, and you can hear sort of the background noise and maybe even parts of my conversation. I'm using a micron pen here. I like to keep it quite fine for the initial pass at pen weights. So this is a 0.1 pen weight. The bicycle actually, so from the rear wheel to the top of the handlebar is kind of my basic unit for this drawing and what I used for measuring it. So the height of the bike takes you to the underside of the awning of the residential store, and then another height of the bike to the top of the store. So I like to measure things out when I'm doing the pen work to get some sort of structure to the drawing before I start with the pen, but I also like to keep it really loose. So I find by measuring something and then getting a general sense of where the perspective is going, I can then be quite loose as I develop the drawing, which is the part that I find most meditative, is when you're just drawing something and basing it, the size and proportion, off of what you just drew. So really focusing on the relationships between objects, like that scooter, the way it tucks next to the bike wheel, and the relationship of the scooter handlebar to the sidewalk beyond, to the box next to the woman on the bench. So I find that's the most enjoyable part of a drawing for me, is really just observing and getting those relationships as close to right as possible, but also keeping it very loose. The world of tone and watercolors is very new to me, so that's exciting to me, and also something I'm looking to learn a lot. So a friend gave me a recommendation for a Domestica watercolor class, so after this video I've started that and learning there's a whole ton of techniques in watercolor, so looking to incorporate more and more of that into my drawings. But I started here at least trying to find some brights and darks. It mostly is in the foreground in that bicycle. The majority of the bike was in shadow, and there was a very high highlight on the wheel and the seat and part of the handlebar. So I tried to get that in. There's still snow at this time, so it made for a contrasty foreground as well, with the shadow and the sun beating off the snow. The background is tough. It kind of becomes muddy. Where I was sitting, the sun was not shining directly on the buildings. It was kind of raking across, so most of the storefront were in shadow. So I was sort of making up light and dark. And this is where I've ended up. Just a couple more tweaks. I guess I'm painting the foreground garbage can with mops in it. Just some final details now. Thank you for tuning in.